All right, we're live. I'm gonna just start munching on a popsicle here. So, I figured I'd do a live stream today as well as make a video, just because I figured I'd show off. And of course, messages are going off in the Discord here, but I figured I'd show off a video I'm going to be working on here throughout the week, or at least trying to work on for those who are coming into this stream post live stream. So that way, I've got something to do. I don't have anything else going on today, so I figured why not. Let's see here. I'm gonna go into my channel, and I need to put on the stream link, copy link location. All right. Of course, it's not going to show the thumbnail properly, but whatever. So we'll go ahead and wait on people to come in the stream here. I know it's Sunday, I know it's an odd time of the day, but hopefully some people show up at some point. And hopefully this isn't too laggy, because I know the internet's been kind of whack as of late, because we all know how Sentry Scam goes. So, wait some more. Wait some more. Actually, I wonder if that's actually working here. Hang on a second. Yeah, it is working. Okay. Just had to check real quick. I know it's going to show like one view, but whatever. I suppose I'll probably swap the camera around here. Show what's actually going on here when people come in. So here's the PowerBook G3. And as you can see, we are installing Mac OS 10 on this thing. Because I actually found my Mac OS 10.0 disk, finally. So before I get too carried away, I'm probably going to make a disk image file of it on my MacBook after this video. But right now it's installing on the legitimate disk and doing its thing. I got some stuff segmented on the camera here, so that way I'll have an easier time editing maybe. Plus I don't use my camera enough. Oh Lord, that's gonna take a little while, I think. I hope it actually doesn't take an hour. I know this only has like a 20 speed CD-ROM drive in it, but hopefully it doesn't take an hour. Good God, that would take a while. I mean, it makes sense for a system of this era, though. This is 1998 we're talking about here. So, yeah. Hello, Chris. So don't mind me if I make some slurping noises. I'm eating a popsicle. It's freaking hot in this house. I mean, I have a box fan and I got the air conditioner going, but that doesn't help. Oh, good. 26 minutes. Not much more time than it was, like an hour and 20 minutes. I was like, what the hell? But it looks like we should be good. Popsicle's good on a hot day. Speaking of fans, actually, I was at the thrift store yesterday when I was out buying my printer, which, by the way, is subject to a video at some point, eventually. And there's this really nice fan. And ironically, it had the brand name of Crosley on it. That's what it was. It was a Crosley table fan, or Crosley desk fan, whatever the heck you call those things. But my God, that thing was moving some serious air. And I almost bought it. It was $20. It was a gamble. I didn't buy it, but I could have. And it was going to be the replacement to this box fan right here. And I'm dead serious. That little fan, that sucker moves some serious air. So yeah, I about bought it while I was there, but I didn't because I have another fan right over there. So yeah, my room's in a complete state of disarray, so I'm not really showing it. I might, but I'm not showing it right at this second. Doing a little bit of cleaning. I found my old AM3 Plus motherboard from when I had my AMD Phenom 2 X6 build. It's an ASRock 960GM/U3S3FX, and this supported the early AMD FX CPUs, if I remember correctly, that ran on the AM3 Plus platform. And this is just the micro ATX motherboard, nothing fancy. This does have IDE on it, which is very rare for an AM3 Plus motherboard, as well as 6 SATA ports. And this used to be my main gaming computer's motherboard, but I don't have a spare AM3 Plus CPU to use in this. But it does have USB 3.0 as well. I'm thinking about popping this on Facebook for $40, and I'm going to see if somebody buys it, because that's pretty cheap for one of these motherboards. I don't know. I'll have to look it up. But what's also pretty nice about this, too, is it has pin headers for a parallel port and a serial port. I think, where's the serial port header? Because this does have a 9-pin header for a 9-pin serial port somewhere on there, and I can't see it right at this second, but this does have at least a pin header for a parallel port, which you really don't see on AM3 Plus motherboards. And just in the time of me sitting there blabbing, we cut down a lot of the time remaining there, so that's pretty cool. A Phenom X4. I believe this system uses Phenom 2s, not the original Phenoms. I could be wrong, though, because, again, this is AM3 Plus. I'm not sure what this motherboard supports in terms of CPUs. I'd have to look it up. So I'm going to switch back my face here temporarily. But I used to use that system with a Phenom 2 X6 1090T. That's what it used to run. It can support FX series chips, at least the 8100, I think, the FX 8100. That was like one of the very first ones. Oh, okay. If it's a Phenom 2 X4, then yeah, sure. I don't have anything to put it in because I don't have a spare heatsink or cooler or anything, but... Well, and I don't also have spare DDR3 RAM, but I don't know. I thought about just selling the motherboard because I ain't got a use for it, because my current AM3 Plus motherboard runs my AMD FX 8350, and it's a little bit newer than that motherboard. I don't know. I might hang on to it, though, because having IDE is very useful. It would be extremely useful for testing hard drives and optical drives, for that matter. But I don't know. But yep, now I get to just sit around and wait for macOS 10 to install here. I ain't got much to do, so... There's nothing besides eating a popsicle and one of these Otter Pop thingamabobs. And just sit around and chat with the YouTube gang. With the same PowerBook G3, although I can't get it to work. I don't know if it's the charger or the laptop itself. Is yours a Wall Street generation? Because I know on the Wall Street generation, there's a key combination you can use on the keyboard, which resets the main SMC, I think it is, on those. But it differs between generations of PowerBook G3, so I don't know, I couldn't tell you. Oh, also, while we're waiting on that guy to reply, I moved my TV. So there's my PS4 box, but I moved my TV over here, my 32-inch. And then my intention is I want to hook up my gaming computer to just use the TV as well as maybe the Ultra Sharp. And then what I'm going to do in the end is I'm going to move this 23-inch monitor here over to where the dresser is, I think. And then I'm going to set the MacBook up here. And then the MacBook will use the Ultra Sharp. And then the gaming computer will use the TV and the Ultra Sharp. I'm not sure how I'm going to do it yet, so I'm going to leave everything as it sits right now. But I'm thinking about changing the setup up a little bit. so that way my MacBook can be out on display when I'm working on stuff, and I can use it as my daily use computer once again, because I miss my MacBook. I don't know. I still got juice in here. Hang on one second. We all know how these things go. I didn't get all the... That's lame. I didn't get all the juice out of this thing. Oh well, whatever. Hello, Jacob. How you doing? We got 9 minutes left estimated on the installation of macOS 10 here on the PowerBook G3. I should actually tell you guys, I've been trying to get the macOS 8.5 disk that I downloaded off of Macintosh repository burned onto a CD to actually get it to work on the PowerBook G3. And for the life of me, I just cannot get it to recognize. I don't know if it was just macOS 8.1, but I couldn't get it to work with burning it from Disk Utility, because in High Sierra, apparently macOS High Sierra natively supports .toast files, which is pretty nice. So I tried burning it with Disk Utility. It burned fine, but I tried putting it in the PowerBook, and it just said this is a blank disk, or an unrecognized disk, and it wanted me to try to initialize it as ProDOS 0K, so that didn't work. So I just downloaded a copy of Toast Titanium from Roxio, and I tried putting it on the MacBook and burning the .toast file from Toast Titanium onto a CD, because I figured maybe it's just some incompatibility with Disk Utility with .toast files. And same thing, didn't work. I couldn't boot off of it. I couldn't get macOS 8 to recognize it. I couldn't tell you. I tried putting it in my Power Mac, my beige G3, and even it couldn't boot off of it. I was like, what the fuck? So I gave up. I do have a universal copy of macOS 9.2.2 that I could burn onto a disk, because I used that on the iMac G3, the DV Special Edition, and it worked fine. But then again, it's a newer optical drive, so I don't know if this system's just too old or has one of those funky optical drives that doesn't like burn disks. I couldn't tell you. It's weird. But my macOS 10 disk seems to work just fine, which is to no surprise. Obviously, the old-fashioned macOS 10.0, that's what I'm installing today. So, I don't know. Gotta find something to do to pass the time, so gotta figure what to do. I've been doing a little bit of cleaning today, not much, but, I don't know. I need to figure out what I'm going to do for dinner probably later today. I know my mom left so she could go make some cookies, and so I got the house to myself, so I figured why not, I'll just start a live stream just for the lulz while I'm making a video. I'm going to be another popsicle because it's, like I said, it's freaking hot. I look like I'm like sweating, so give me just one moment. We got to sit you guys down. This is what I do while I'm making a video. I don't have anything else to do, so just kick back, relax, and eat some popsicles. Oh yeah, there's all the packing material when it came to all my orders, except for that HP box and that Cricut box down there. That's all the bubble wrap that came with the Power Mac and the PowerBook. So I used a little bit of the PowerBook stuff to send the MacBook Pro back to the eBay seller. I don't know if it's been returned yet, so yeah. The people know Snapchat only close anymore. It's been that way for a little while, I can tell you that much. It either lets you view it or you don't view it. That's how it's been ever since I've been using the YouTube app with live streaming. So I don't know, unless YouTube just now updated something that I'm not aware of. How many operating systems, floppies, CDs do you have? It depends, because I don't know how many I actually have, like, in terms of physical, like, legitimate copies. I know I have a couple of legitimate Windows 7 DVDs, And I know I have a Windows Vista installation set on CD, which is very uncommon. I have a few Windows 98 disks. I have lots of Windows XP disks. I have one Windows 2000 disk. I have no Windows ME disks. I think I got a couple of Windows 95 CDs. I think they're just version A or B because I don't have any of the physical copies that are OSR2, unfortunately. But I think that's all I have in terms of Windows. In terms of Mac, I have Mac OS 10.0. I think I have a copy of 10.3 somewhere, but I think I cracked a disk on accident. I burned a copy of 10.4 on CDs because I didn't have a DVD drive for my iMac DV Indigo. So, yeah. So, anyway. Oh, we're going to take two hands. Hang on. Ugh. These damn Otter Pops. Really push them up. Ugh. Good God. Alright. App, there's only an X on the top right or chat button. Yeah, that's how it's been for a while. At least for me, that's what I've noticed with the YouTube app. Time remaining about 8 minutes. Okay. So this will be my last Otter Pop for at least now. I suppose while we're doing this, if you want, we could do a little Q&A section. If anybody wants to do that, that's fine by me. I gotta set this back down because I gotta put this freaking Otter Pop in my mouth. I actually want to put the camera back up here. On iMac G3 Strawberry, I forced Tiger into it post facto, and it's slow now and lost lots of OpenGL support. Yeah, that's kind of the trade-off when it comes to X post facto and using a non-FireWire-based computer on Mac OS X Tiger. You do lose a lot of performance, but I guess if you wanted to technically run OS X Tiger on something without FireWire ports, there you go. You can say that you did it. And technically, actually, this particular PowerBook, you could also do that with X post facto, as long as you probably upgrade the RAM to 192 megs, which is the maximum for that one, and then run X post facto. You might be able to get Tiger to run, but not very well, because I know Tiger requires 256 megs of RAM, and the G3 Wall Street / Main Street version, which I have, only accepts a maximum of 192 megs of RAM. So that kind of sucks, but it is what it is. All right, let's see here. Have you tried Cave Story? Cave Story. Let me look that up here real quick. Cave Story is a Metroidvania platform adventure video game released in 2004 for Windows and a bunch of other consoles. Oh, there's even an OS X port for that. Huh. To answer your question, though, no, I've not actually tried Cave Story. This is my first time of actually looking at it. I don't know what I'd run it on, but hey. Right now, Tiger on the iMac G3 is using like 160 megs of RAM. Oh, jeez. Alright, well, we're about done here. We got about, on the install here, we got about 2 minutes remaining, so. suppose we'll probably turn the camera back on here in a second. Okay, let's see. Yeah, you told me already you don't have blank CDs. That sucks. Let's see if I can potentially set my phone down here without having it fall over right away. There we go. Okay. Unplugging my camera. And turning on the camera. And the camera's already out of focus. Yay. Good job, camera. Okay. And away we go. Okay, so we are at the end of the initial setup portion. As you can see, it's installing additional drivers for the printers right now. Although I doubt I'm going to be able to get a printer working, even though I do have a network printer. But as these things go, you never know. Anything goes, but we are about done. I don't know if it's actually going to be about a minute, but initially when I was getting this going, the funniest thing happened with the time remaining. It said it was going to take an hour and 20 minutes, and I was like, what? Why? But then it quickly went right back down to, I think it was like 37 minutes, and I was like, okay, good, because I was not about to wait an hour and 20 minutes just to install macOS 10. That would take way too long, but fortunately we don't have to wait that long, so that's a good sign. So once it gets done with these print drivers, we should be able to restart. And don't mind me if I make slurping noises. I'm just having a popsicle right now. So that's what's going to be happening. It's because it's hot in this house right now. So yeah. Most of the hard drive go with the cleaning up phase. Oh man. Alright, come on, any second now. You can go ahead and clean up and we can restart. I hear the CD going back and forth, so it's doing something. Any second now, you can give me the restart button. Any second now. Oh, there we go. Yay, successful. Oh, I don't even know how to English today. The software was successfully installed. The computer will restart in 25 seconds. I don't know, 20 seconds. Now I better click the restart button here. And okay, we do have the beach ball on the top left. Oh, there it goes. Bong. And now we wait, because again, these PowerBooks, they take a long time to post. Oh, there we go. Nope, we're good. So we're already starting right back up into macOS 10, and eventually you should see the beach ball in the top left corner. And this is going to take a while to start up, I know for a fact, so I will be back once this has booted up. Okay, now I can start blabbing in front of the stream again, because I was recording there. I think I know how to corrupt the PS1 BIOS emulator. Insert Windows OS ISO on the PS1 emulator, and it might work. You should try it. Maybe. Probably not on this video, but maybe. I might try that later. Could be interesting, I suppose. Okay, let's see how the camera's doing. I'm surprised it hasn't actually blown the contrast out on the LCD, because that's normally what this likes to do, is blow the contrast out, but I guess it's because it's in macOS 10 mode. I don't know. But as we all know, macOS 10.0 takes an absolute eternity to start up. Oh, it's crunching the hard drive right now. Oh, there it goes. Now it's going into special thousands of colors mode. I think it's like 15-bit color or something like that. Some weird color depth that this panel is the only one that really uses, so. Alright, so here we are. This is the macOS 10 sort of like little splash screen thingamabobber. Initializing network. I think it's trying to get an IP address right now, which it should get, because DHCP. It should get one. I do have the Ethernet cable plugged into the back of this. Oh god, it's going to take a while for this to initialize, isn't it? I actually wonder how terrible the intro video for macOS 10 is going to look. Because I know this plays an intro video, and it looks pretty good, but I don't know how it's going to look on a passive matrix display, so we're about to find out together. Starting directory services. Yeah, I can see why a lot of people back in the day complained when they first installed macOS 10 because of the performance. I can't English for sure. Because of the immediate performance degradation of macOS 10.0. So, although then again, this is the first boot up, so I can't say I blame it for why it's taking so long, because it has to initialize a lot of stuff. So maybe after the first boot up's done, it might actually speed up a little bit. I don't know. I don't know. I'll just pretend in the video that this is being sped up, so that way I can actually blab in front of the stream. Is this OS 10 the first version? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Okay, and any second now, we should see the intro video start playing. This is a supported machine for video playback as far as I know, so it should, in theory, have enough horsepower to do this. Technically, I could do this on the iMac DVSe, but then you'd be looking at a CRT, so whatever. I figured I'd take the passive matrix display over trying to use a CRT, so yeah. This might take a while, because again, this usually takes forever on the first boot up to get the intro video playing. The only unfortunate thing also is that this does not have a volume control on the keyboard. I know the later G3s do, but not this one. So, that'll be interesting. Alright, crunching the hard drive some more. Oh, no, this one actually doesn't play the intro video. How weird. This one just jumps straight into the setup process. Huh. But it does actually have the little Aqua sidebar thing going on there. That's weird. That's a first. I actually have not seen a Mac that runs the macOS 10. Oh. But it's happy to play the music. Weird. That's a first. Huh. Anyway. So yeah, we are in the United States. God, the iconic macOS 10 intro music. Alright, yes, US keyboard layout. Oh my gosh. Okay, there we go. Yes, registration information. So I'm going to go ahead and fill this out. Yeah, right. And I'll be right back, because obviously you actually have to fill this out as far as I know. Okay, so the camera is temporarily turned off, so let me go ahead and get to typing here so I can get this out of the way. Of course, let's see. Okay. Email address if you have one, which I do. Oops. This is not going to work, of course, because Apple servers don't actually have the registration information. Okay, no. I'll primarily use this computer at home. Ha ha ha. I'm a video production person. Ha. As I'm that kind of guy. Turn off on my camera. Okay, so I've totally not filled out the registration information. This isn't even going to send anyway when I press continue, because, yeah, there's just no way it's going to send the information. So, my name is obviously Jordan Woolery, short name Jordan WO. I don't know why it's that way, but then again, this is Unix after all, but whatever. Okay, so password. I'm just going to set some kind of password that I use on all my Macs, so give me just 1 second. Doing this one-handed is not exactly easy. Okay. And then I gotta figure out a hint, so I'm just gonna say that. Because that's definitely not cheating at all. Please check the fields marked with red arrows and enter the same password in both fields. Oh, I screwed up on typing it, apparently. Whoops! That was not my intention. Well, that just makes this process even more fun. I hope I've actually typed in the correct password then. Because I totally didn't type 2 different passwords. You didn't see anything. It's been a long week. I'm tired. Okay, set up your internet access. Please choose an option and click continue. I will use my existing internet service. I use a LAN. Let's see. Network connection automatically from a DHCP server. Yeah, use DHCP. That's fine. I'd like to create my iTools account. I'm going to just say for now, I'm not ready for iTools. I'll come back to that later. Of course, we all know iTools doesn't work. Connecting to the internet. Ooh, look at that animation. You know, surprisingly, that looks better on the camera than it actually does in real life, if I'm being honest. It looks a lot better on the camera. Yep, registration cannot be sent, of course, because there is no way that Apple's going to accept registration information for macOS 10.0. So, oh well. macOS 10 includes Mail, an application program for sending and receiving email messages. Well, crap. I guess I gotta go find Gmail settings, so I'll be right back and fill this in, because this might take a while. And there's no way to X out of it, so I actually have to set it up. Alright, fine. Alright, let's see. Give me just one moment. Behind the scenes magic at its finest. I know that Google has a settings page for their email. I love how Patrick in the Discord's all like, Jordan got a real camera once. No, this is the very same Coolpix S9300 that has buggy software that doesn't like to zoom in or out when you're doing video. Okay, so you're going to have to be looking at my back for a bit, so that way I can actually type this in and get it done more quickly. So let's see, I gotta type in my email address. Incoming mail server, that is an IMAP at gmail.com. That is an IMAP email. That is my username, my password. And the outgoing mail server is smtp.gmail.com. And I hope this works. I do know that Gmail tends to be pretty flexible based on email clients, as I've gotten it to work in Outlook Express 6 before. But I don't know if it's going to need any other server settings after I do this, so let's find out here. So I got to turn the camera back on. Whoops. Okay, so as you can clearly see, I've got all that stuff set up there. Just a typical Gmail setup. I can't even English still. Sorry about that. I don't know if it's going to need any additional server settings once I get into the desktop. I would assume so, but we'll see. All right, it's Pacific time zone. I know that for a fact. We're definitely installing macOS 10.0 on December 31st, 1969 at 4:46 in the afternoon. Definitely. Anyway, let's fix that. So this needs to be 2018. Yeah, it's doing that because this has a dead pram battery, of course. It'd be very rare if one of these things actually still had a functional pram battery. But I don't know, maybe it'll get charged up while I'm using this, because I think it actually is a nickel metal hydride pram battery. I could be wrong, though, of course. Could be just one of those lithium things. And it's also scrolling incredibly slowly. All right, so it's not December 31st. It is July 1st. So July 1st, which is a Sunday, and it is currently, what time is it? It is currently 3:58 p.m. So 3:58. I don't care about the seconds. It'll just sync the time once I get onto the desktop through the internet. All right, click done to end the setup process and begin enjoying your computer. You can complete your registration at a later time by going to apple.com/register. If you need to register many computers, go to apple.com/register and you can register them all at once. Enjoy your Apple computer. Why, thank you. I will be sure to do that. It should take us to the desktop. I don't know why the screen looks so washed out on the camera on this blue pattern, but it is not that way in real life. Of course, that is a side effect of the passive matrix display. It's going to be so weird when you see a rainbow Apple logo running macOS 10, although there's certainly been stranger things, not, of course, the Netflix series. So, whatever. All right, we do have a dock. I can just barely see it because, again, I'm not looking at the screen dead on, so. All right, there's the desktop background, which is heavily dithered. It does not look good at all. Again, it looks better on the camera than it does in real life, but that's just kind of the nature of things. And there we go. There is macOS 10.0. And let's see here. Let's go ahead and go up to Apple and About This Mac. And as you can see, PowerPC G3 with 160 megs of RAM. This is the very first edition of macOS 10. There are no 0.1 or whatever updates on this. I don't know where you could find the latest update, which would be 10.0.4, but I'm not keeping macOS 10.0 on this system. If I were to install macOS 10, it'd be 10.2, which is the latest officially supported release by Apple. And I do have installation media for Jaguar, so I think it's version 10.2.1, so I could actually install that on here, and we could probably get it to work. Now, one distinctive thing about the macOS 10 dock is the way that the status bar items are actually put into the dock, with very blurry video, and of course the camera locks up solid and it doesn't want to zoom out until 5 seconds later when I tell it to zoom out, and then it still goes out of focus and the camera fucking locks up again, doesn't want to zoom out. There we go. God damn this camera. Come on, zoom out, you stupid piece of shit. Thank you. I guess we'll just go closer to the screen time because it'll actually fucking work this way. Anyway, you can see the battery icon with the X in it, which that is a characteristic of this machine, being that it has a dead battery. But normally that would live up in the, the status bar up there. But in macOS 10.0, and I believe 10.1 as well, that I can't English today, of course, as we all know, the status tray icons would have been dock accessories at this time. I believe in 10.1 or 10.2 they changed it back to the way macOS 9 did it, but that's how it was here in the very first version of macOS 10. So let's go ahead and see what's actually on the hard drive. I don't remember what actually comes with macOS 10.0, but we're about to find out here. So let's see here, applications, and let's see, not a whole lot, but I was expecting there to not be a whole heck of a lot on here. But as you can see, there's a dedicated section called Dock Extras, which has the battery monitor, which is currently running because I'm on a PowerBook, and it says there's no batteries available because the internal battery on this laptop is completely dead. But you can also put on airport signal strength, that this had airport, which this does not. Of course, this is before airport was a thing, so the only machines at the time that would have had airport capabilities would have been the iBook, the later PowerBook G3s, the Power Mac G4, the later iMacs, so on and so forth. But this is obviously too old for airport to be a thing unless you had a special PC card to actually let you have airport capability, which I don't have. But there's other things on here, like we set up mail, there's image capture, there's chess. Let's actually see how chess looks on this. I'm very curious. Oh god, that refresh rate with the dock. Oh my goodness. And also you can see just how long it takes to launch. It takes an absolute eternity to launch chess, but there you can see it is open. Again, it looks better on the camera than it does in real life. It is very dithered in real life, so you guys have it better off than I do, because I don't know. But anyway, we're not going to go ahead and play chess today. Oh god, we got a beach ball. It's trying to load speech recognition for some reason. I don't know why we need speech recognition. Anyway, so let's go ahead and just close out of chess. That uses a GNU license for some reason. Very interesting. There's Apple script in here because, of course, this was before the days of Automator and OS X Tiger. Or did Automator come out in Tiger? I can't remember. I swear it did. I could be wrong, though. Of course, there's Address Book, there's Stickies, and QuickTime Player. Let's go ahead and try QuickTime Player out here. Of course, there's no iTunes, because iTunes didn't come with macOS 10 until version 10.1, I think. Or 10.2. It could have been one of the two. But I know it didn't come until later versions. You can see just how long it takes to load QuickTime. And it just takes a while for it to load almost anything. Now, this is a carbonized version of QuickTime 5, which was in macOS 9. This is essentially just a carbonized version of that particular application. So that way, they didn't have to do a full rewrite like QuickTime 6. So that way they didn't have to, waste so much time on it, because of course. But let's see here. Open movie, not open URL. That's not what I wanted to do. Get out of here. All right, so file, open movie, and let's see here. I doubt any of these QuickTime TV things are still functional, but you never know. Interesting, there is no sample movie in that folder. Where is a sample movie at? I guess it's in movies. I don't know. Nope, there is no sample movie on this. That's weird. Huh. Well, anyway. But as you know, QuickTime, it does work. And I wish I had a sample movie. I don't know where it is, but it's not on there. So anyway, system preferences. We'll go ahead and we'll open that up here. You can see the old system preferences. Now, there's one thing that I didn't get in my first video, which I know I tended to confuse a lot of people. But one thing I forgot about the original macOS 10, and this also applied for 10.1 as well, the desktop preferences for the desktop background are actually not in system preferences like you would think they would be. Although, they did change that later. But if you want to change the desktop background, you have to go to the dock preferences, which would open up this window called the dock and desktop preferences, wherever the heck that is. It's in here somewhere in the system. And it would allow you to change your desktop wallpaper. But I don't remember where that is in this version of OS X. There's some... I think you have to be in the Finder to do it, actually, now that I think about it here. So, wait for the Displays Preference panel to load here. There we go. Let's see. Is it under Finder? Or is it like dock desktop preferences? It has to be in here somewhere. Well, anyway, you can see this is the limitations of the passive matrix display on this computer. It only runs at 800 by 600, and at this time, macOS 10 did not allow you to run at 640 by 480 unless it was the iMac or some other machines. But as you can see, I only have thousands of colors. macOS 10 does not officially support 256 color mode unless you're running with macOS 9 mode or classic mode turned on. And of course, this is an unknown display, which is actually kind of bizarre. You would think it'd have PowerBook G3 series calibrated on there, but whatever. I'll set it now. All right, we're going to quit out of that. So, there we go. So let's, actually I forgot to check the system preferences. I want to see if this had an IP address set. I guess I should check that real quick and make sure that this is actually got an IP address here. So I'm going to move the camera away since I don't want to show an IP address on the video. So network. And let's see what it says here. Do not use the internal modem. We want the built-in Ethernet using DHCP. And it does have an IP address. Well, sweet. Isn't that awesome? Okay. So let's go ahead and before the camera dies, because of course the camera is already starting to die on me even though it's had a full charge, because that's just the nature of a point and shoot, as we all know. Let's go ahead and open up Internet Explorer, because that is the inbuilt browser when it comes to the early macOS 10 versions, unless you have 10.3 or later. And let's see if we can at least load Google, because previously on macOS 8.1, I couldn't even get Google to load, because for some reason, there was something up with the TCP IP settings in macOS 8.1 that were tied specifically to AOL, so I'm not sure what was going on with that. But anyway, as you can see, it's asking us if you want to set Internet Explorer as the default browser, so sure, well, why not? I don't know why it isn't set already as the default, even though it probably should have been. But you can see the old Internet Explorer for Mac splash screen there, which ties heavily with Office 2001 with that particular splash screen. So it does take quite a while for it to open up, but eventually it does open. Again, this is a thing when it comes to macOS 10. It was very slow at launching the programs. Now, this is a full, I believe, rewrite of the browser. I could be wrong. This could also be just a carbonized version of Internet Explorer 5.1 for Macintosh, and it's just running in macOS 10. So let's see here about Internet Explorer, and there you can see, apparently this is a preview release. They didn't include the full release for some reason. I don't know what's up with that. But anyway, so let's see if we can load Google. Of course, at the time, the search engine of choice would have been AltaVista, but AltaVista doesn't work anymore, as we all know. But as you can see, there's Google, which would otherwise not have been possible on macOS 8.1 unless I were to update the Internet Explorer version, which I couldn't because I didn't want to burn a CD. And for those who don't know, the Wall Street generation of PowerBook G3s actually do not have USB. This is a pre-USB PowerBook. The later, I think there was the Wall Street 2s or the, what the hell was it? The Lombard series, I think. I think the Lombards were the first ones to have USB ports on them, and they shared a very similar case design to the Wall Streets, but they had a bronze keyboard, and they are a slightly different design. But this one does not have USB ports, so it would have to be transferred either over FTP or AppleTalk or something like that. I'm not sure, but I didn't bother with it because, of course, macOS 8.1 isn't of too much use to me. But otherwise, that's pretty much all there is to say there about macOS 10.0. I guess if anybody wants to see a more in-depth look at this operating system in use on this computer, given the passive matrix display, and have software that they would like to have me try on there, or would like to provide me some software links or something to have me try on this machine for a future video, please let me know in the comment section below. Otherwise, that's it for now, guys, so appreciate you all taking the time to watch, and I'll see you all in a later video. Phew! Video's done. Yay! Now I can put the camera away. Whew, this thing's hot. This thing is hot. Okay. So now we can all take a look at the glorious macOS 10 in thousands of colors at 800 by 600. Oh my goodness, yeah, the pram battery is good, the light would stay on. Yeah, the power light on this does work, but it doesn't actually turn on when the computer itself is on, so yeah, I know the pram battery on this thing is long dead. I've actually been missing out on the chat, so let me come back here. Let me read it. Sounds like pram battery is shot. It will do that if it's unplugged for 5 minutes, but if it's unplugged for an hour, it'll reset the clock. Yes, I have been fully aware the pram battery on this thing is dead. I actually wonder if I were to take out the power on this thing and actually try to start it back up again. I wonder if it would. I wonder if the contrast would go back to being full blast and you couldn't read anything on the screen. But anywho, once it gets going, once you get this thing going, it's actually not as slow as I thought it was. I know that macOS 10.0 on a really early G3 is very slow, but I guess if you have the minimum amount of memory, or you are above the minimum amount of memory like this one is, I guess it's not all that bad. I don't know, I couldn't tell you. But this has 160 megs of RAM, as we know, and the minimum for, well, the minimum for macOS 10.0 is 128 megs, but unofficially it would take 64. But I'm trying to remember where the hell the dock and desktop preferences is for macOS 10, because I believe you got to do like a control click on the dock and then dock preferences or something like that, and then it would load the dock and desktop preferences. I have to remember where the heck it is in macOS 10.0, because it is extremely hard to find the option where you can change the desktop background. Either that, or I couldn't remember if you could actually change the desktop background. You should be able to, but I don't know. I simply haven't been able to see it. And I didn't see it in my initial video, but I know that in the public beta there was a dock and desktop preferences thing, but hell if I can find it on here. Again, one of the main problems with macOS 10 is the relocation of all the basic settings. You can't find a damn thing. It's not even under displays as far as I know. Oh, don't do that. But, yeah, changed the color calibration to PowerBook G3 series because it wasn't even set to that, which was bizarre. Yeah. I guess I'll have to go on to Internet Explorer and try to find that. I'm not sure. And also one thing, because of course this is the first version of macOS 10, they do include a macOS 9 folder for the desktop, because of course if you had macOS 9 installed, which I don't because I formatted the hard drive, that would have a link to the desktop of macOS 9 if you had macOS 9.1 or later installed. Anyway, eject the CD because I need to take it out. So I suppose we'll have to find something to do with this thing, because I think it'd be pretty interesting. But I'll probably put macOS 10.2 on this, because 10.2 runs much better than 10.0. And for some reason it thinks I'm running on an iMac. I don't know why. But this is a PowerBook, so you'd think the computer icon would change to a PowerBook, but it doesn't. I don't know why, but that's just the way it is. Anyway, it's under the utilities folder here. CPU monitor. Hey, there we go. Let's see how much CPU we're using here. Of course, the icon is of a G4. Alright, there we go. Got a little CPU meter here. Let's see. I'm just sitting here scrolling and it pretty much uses 100% of the CPU. Good God. Let's see. I need to shrink the dock. The dock is absolutely massive on this machine. I got Sherlock. We can use Sherlock. Look at that refresh rate. Good old passive matrix color displays. Am I right? Oh, it looks like it's actually indexing the hard drive right now. Let's see, can I fix the contrast? I don't know if there's a hotkey set up to where you can actually fix the contrast on this without a special utility or something like that. Oh, there we go. So there's a brightness menu thingamabob at the very least, but you can't actually change the contrast of the LCD. That's weird. I guess it's because of the special calibration that this thing uses. I guess that's how it determines the contrast, so you can't change it, which is probably a good thing. But yeah, you can definitely tell on the stream here. I don't know if it's going to show up properly, but there's a crap ton of dithering on this background. It actually kind of looks bad. Alright. I suppose I'll answer Mason's question here. Mason Pelzer, what is your favorite computer? And for that, I would say my iMac. If I had to pick a favorite, which is not over here like I thought it would be, my iMac DV Special Edition would be my favorite computer because I grew up with an iMac, so of course my iMac is going to be one of my favorite machines of all time. There's just no getting around it. But if I had to pick another favorite, it would probably be my HP XW6600 workstation, because this thing has dual Xeon processors in them. Even though they're not the latest, it still has dual Xeon CPUs. And this machine is really what helped me start my YouTube channel even more than what it was at the time. And this machine can still technically be used today. If I were to slap my GTX 1050 Ti back into it, it would still be useful today as a very powerful daily use computer. Equivalent in CPU powered with stock Ryzen 3 1300X, as far as I remember. In terms of raw CPU power, this is very equivalent to that. But in terms of things like PCI Express performance, it's just there's just no comparison. Memory throughput is very bad. So give me just a moment. I'm going to go ahead and move some crap out of the way here so I can bring the PowerBook back over here. So we're actually going to go ahead and shut this down real quick, which I think you have to do from the Apple menu, yeah, because there's no special menu at this time. So let me go ahead and let the PowerBook shut down here real quick, and then we'll try doing some things with it, I suppose. I have not yet launched Mail. I probably should do that at some point. I'd like to do that, but I don't know. Okay. So give me just a few moments. I'm going to bring my Ethernet cable back around here, and then we can get started. Oh goodness, this thing's heavy. It's also very hot right now. I mean very, very hot. Okay, and I also got to plug my phone in because it said it was at low power, but oh, whatever. You should actually make a disk image of that OS X public beta CD. Just make like a, if you can, make a disk image of it, and then if you can possibly do it, like upload it and then link it to me. That'd be really cool for me to download and try, because I would definitely do that. I would definitely look at that piece of software history, because macOS X public beta is very interesting to look at. Okay, Mr. Camera Charger, you can move. I'll charge the camera later. And I gotta unfurl my yo-yo adapter so I have a little bit more cable length, so we can turn the PowerBook back on here. God, even the PowerBook's power cord is a little toasty here. Okay. So we got it all set up now. And one way I know that the parameter battery on this thing is dead is because when you go to plug back in the, when you put it in, I cannot English today. I am so sorry, guys. When I plug in the power jack, though, this it does. The green light comes on, it spins the cooling fan for a few seconds, then shuts off. So that's how I know that the parameter battery on this thing is junk. But one thing I'm curious about, does it blast the contrast after I turn it on? After a cold boot? Well, cold boot is in the case of unplugging the power cord. Let's find out together. I know it takes an eternity to check the memory, so you sit here on a black screen for a good 30 seconds almost. And eventually it might start up. Wow, voice crack there. That was terrible. Oh, there goes the hard drive. Yes, it does. Yes, it does still blast the contrast. But then again, it's in old boot ROM mode. You can see the mouse cursor up there. Ooh, the floppy disk. Huh. Weird. Weird. So we just learned something today. Apparently, if you install macOS 10 on this before you install macOS 9.1, it will not find the macOS 10 system image. That's weird. That is bizarre. Okay, so now I want to try something. I wonder if I have to look up the key combinations once again. All right, off with you. Nope, I guess it doesn't do that. I gotta hold the button down. Or it won't turn off for some reason, even though I hold the power button down. All right, that's weird. All right, sorry, hard drive, I gotta do this to you. Come on, there we go. For some reason, it wouldn't let me turn it off via the power button. That's weird. So now I'm curious. Let me try holding down the option button. I imagine I'll have to install macOS 9, and then I'll be able to actually see the macOS 10 system volume. Very, very strange. But then again, I did install macOS 8.1, or macOS 8.1 was already on this, but when I installed macOS 10, it didn't actually like do the whole macOS 9 firmware upgrade thing, so I'm not surprised to see that it's not showing the macOS 10 boot volume. All right, there goes the hard drive, there goes the screen. Blasting the contrast again, as always, and there's the floppy disk of doom. So yeah, it's there. macOS 10 is there. It's just the boot ROM is so old it can't tell what is the macOS 10 volume. So looks like we're gonna have to bust out the MacBook, and I'm gonna actually do a separate live stream for troubleshooting this. So I'm gonna probably go ahead and I gotta plug my phone in because my phone is complaining about less than 10% of battery. So I need to plug my phone in. And then I'll actually go ahead and get the MacBook going with burning a macOS 9.2.2 CD. And then we'll install macOS 9 and then reinstall macOS 10.2. Because I'm going to not do macOS 10.0 once again. I'm just going to do 10.2 because I might as well just install the latest that this machine can run and be done with it. Because then once I'm done having my fun with macOS 10, then I'll actually put back on like macOS 8.6 or something like that and have this machine like run a proper classic Mac OS for its era, which 1998 would have been Mac OS 8.5 or 8.6. So I'll probably run one of those on there. So yeah. Anyways, well, I gotta turn this off once again because this is not going to detect the Mac OS 10 boot volume as it sits, because there's no updated hard disk drivers on this. So okay. So I'm going to go ahead and, wait, should I actually, you know what? Screw making a new live stream. I'll just continue this one, and then I'm going to just, we'll turn the camera back on, and we're just going to document my stupidity. Because why not, everyone? Because why not? I think that's a perfect thing to do. Say, where's the MacBook? There's the MacBook right there. I found the sleeve and it fits my MacBook, so I put my MacBook in here so it would fit this case back to shape. So it's gonna take a couple seconds for me to unzip it here. And then I will set you guys up here. Yeah, sounds like a Drog 1 video. Yeah, you're right. This is, absolutely. Looks like my phone's stuttering now, so I'm gonna have to freaking plug it into power. So give me just one moment. I'm gonna have to plug my phone in because it's starting to stutter. Because, of course, we all know Apple and their stupid throttling the phone performance when the battery gets low. Where did I set that at? I don't know. Well, for the moment, I'm just going to go ahead and steal the lightning cable from my wall wart. Alright. I'll just plug my lightning cable into my side of my phone here. There. Now it won't completely die yet. Yeah, it's still stuttering like crazy, but whatever. Anyway, I'm actually running iOS 12 Developer Beta 2 on this. I'm not running the public beta, I'm running the developer beta, version 2. So I know they haven't completely fixed the stuttering yet. Yeah, the stuttering's basically gone away now as soon as I plugged it in. So the stuttering is not entirely gone. It's still there, but it's at a greatly reduced amount compared to what it was before, because believe me, it was bad. My phone, even with a replacement battery, it was pretty bad. So, yeah. But it seems to be a little better now in macOS. I just said macOS. I'm talking about my damn phone. What am I doing? Anyway, let me log in here. I need a blank CD. I have a blank CD up here. Hopefully this works with it. And looks like the MacBook touchpad is somewhat, and I say somewhat in a loose sense, working for me today. I'm going to take it for what it is and actually use it what works. Alright, I need my MagSafe, so give me 1 second. Where did I put my MagSafe at? MagSafe. Probably put it someplace and I forgot where I put it, because that's just what I do best. I always forget where the absolute F word I put all my stuff. Oh, well, what do you know? It's right behind my chair. Right here. I'm such a dumbass. I am such a dumbass. Anyway. Alright. And actually, what I'm going to go ahead and do, I'm going to plug my phone into the MacBook's USB ports, because when I do that, it actually gives me a proper 2 amp output, because even old Whitey still allows me to have power USB ports, which is really nice. So let's see here. Unplug it. I know it's going to complain. Another USB port here. Come on. In the port you go. And there we go. Alright, so yes, open that disk in Finder. I want the macOS 9 disk and burn disk image. And I wanted to burn this at 8 speed. And burn. Okay, so now we gotta wait for this to burn, and in the meantime, I'm gonna not only get the camera on, but I'm also gonna get iMovie rolling here, because then I can start importing the footage. Not like it matters, though. Okay, so technical mishaps begin now. This is probably going to turn into a Draga 1 video, because of course we are live. I'm a dumbass. Officially a dumbass. And let me show you why. Right, I forced this thing off so I didn't plug back in the power supply. Of course. I am an absolute dumbass. So I should have seen this coming, and I didn't even think about it at the time. But when macOS 10 refers to needing macOS 9.1, it isn't kidding, because it actually updates the firmware and hard disk drivers to support macOS 10 properly. And I didn't run macOS 9 prior to running macOS 10, which is not a very smart thing to do, as you'll soon see here once it does its memory test and spins the hard drive up and initializes the video. Then you'll see my stupidity come into play. Of course, you'll also see that the screen blasts the contrast, which macOS 10 did not do, so that's already and also out of focus, which is already an immediate sign of which that it's not booting in macOS 10 mode. As you can see, the contrast is way too high. In fact, it was higher than before. And we now have the blinking floppy disk. So, that officially declares me as a dumbass because I just installed an operating system that this thing can't see, which it literally can't see because it's out of focus as well, and I can't zoom because this camera's being a piece of shit and doesn't want to zoom because, of course, it's a piece of fucking shit. And, yeah. And it's also still going out of focus, even though this is, like, right freaking there. You piece of shit camera. Anyway, so what I'm doing now, besides trying to get something started in iMovie here, is I'm going to try to burn a disk image of Mac OS 9, and we're going to try to fix this thing. Live on camera, too. Hopefully, maybe. I don't know. I'm so stupid. I am very stupid. So we're going to try to fix it. Okay, that's that clip done. I hate this camera, I tell you what. The only reason why I'm using it is because I'm live streaming right now with my phone. Otherwise, I'd have used my phone to record this video, but of course I don't have a tripod, so that doesn't help either. Or a phone, yeah, phone tripod, I was gonna say. Did I say did I just say tripod or phone tripod? I don't know, I couldn't. I've been, like, screwing up all day. But anyway. Wait for the vlog beep, so I laptop. Okay, cool. Because I would love to have the macOS 10 public beta disk image, because I would definitely check that out on the iMac DV. I would definitely check it out on there. Because that machine is old enough, it will run the public beta of Mac OS 10. I'm going to go and plug my camera in here. Ah, you stupid power strip. Alright. So I need to grab a mouse, because I need a mouse, because otherwise the touchpad on this computer goes absolutely nuts when you try to use it, so I'm going to just not use it altogether. Grab an extension cord and plug the mouse into the extension cord. And there we go. So now I can use my Apple mouse. So now I need to go into iMovie here, and I need to make a new project. Alright, this thing is so much slower than that MacBook Pro. This thing is just way slower than the MacBook Pro. Even with an SSD, this thing is very slow. Okay, settings, black, fade up to black. Stop at touchpad. Okay. It is now working. I need to trim that down to 19 seconds. 1 second fade. Stop it, touchpad. Okay, transitions. I need spin in at the beginning and spin out at the end. Stop it, touchpad. You're being an asshole. That needs to be 0.7 seconds. Stop. Fucking piece of shit touchpad. Knock your fucking shit off. Yes, I bitch at my computers. But brute force fixes my touchpad, so yeah. Let's see how many comments I get about that one. Alright. Back to this. Do 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 do. Burn failed because medium right there. I must have had a bum disc then. Must have been a bum disc. Oh, try again. You always get bum discs every once in a while. I think I just had a bum disc. Oh well. Some apps currently used are preventing automatic updates. Well, probably because there's an iMovie update, and I'm using iMovie right now. Isn't that why? Oh no, it's Memory Clean too. Yeah, okay. Yeah, update it, whatever. Yes, close the app. Okay, it's back up and running. Okay, and click App Store, and let's try doing this one more time. No, I did not want you to mount that. Alright, disk image, and 8 speed, and burn. Okay. Okay. While that does its thing, I gotta unplug my phone temporarily so I can plug my camera in and import all the footage off of it, so. Okay, camera's on. And now we wait for all the footage. So I want to import all this stuff. And now we wait for it to import. Of course, knowing the speed of USB 2.0, anything's possible. That's what I could do is this. Do 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 do. Waiting on stuff to happen on old Whitey, and it takes forever. I'm like in desperate need of a new computer, and this thing is absolutely slow. I also blame the speed of the SD card. It's not exactly a quick SD card, but still. This thing is going to take 12 minutes to import. Are you serious? Hence why I use my phone. Because my phone is much faster to import. And the video is much better quality. Well, I gotta figure out what else to do for this stream. Besides wait for a macOS 9 disk to burn and wait for stuff to import on the camera to the SSD. Someday I'll get my wish. Not today, though. I have to play adult and I have to save money. "10 minutes before this thing is done importing. Yay." Anyway. I suppose I'll probably shut the stream off just because there's not going to be anything interesting going on for a while now. Far from it. So, yeah. Because I don't think anything's really going to be happening for a little bit. So, yeah. I'll just turn that off real quick here. That was weird. Anyway, so yeah, I'll probably start a new stream here in a little bit, and oh, okay, Jacob, that'd be cool. Just post it in either the Discord, like in the main Discord thing, or I suppose you probably just DM it over to me. That's fine too. And then I can pop it on the Beast here, and I can archive it. So, while we wait on the macOS 9 to burn here. So yeah, I think I'll probably do that. I'll probably start a new stream here in a little bit, and then we'll pick back up where we left off, I suppose, because this thing's going to charge and import the footage, so it's going to be a little while before the battery gets charged back up on that thing, because it charges really slow and then discharges in like 20 minutes. That's just the nature of this camera. It needs a new battery, I suppose. But I'm not going to buy a new battery for this camera because this camera is otherwise a piece of crap, so there's just not worth buying a battery for it, so... Hence why I use my phone for everything. Hence why the phone battery's probably gone bad, you know? Anyway. Enough about that, so... I'm gonna probably go ahead and... I'll be back soon, and, ow, that hurt. And then, we'll pick back up with troubleshooting this, so... Alrighty. I'll also let my phone charge as well, of course, so, yeah.